Poor vegans, man. Boy, you want to talk about people that have been sold a bill of goods.
Not very durable, are they?
It's not just that. It's like there's so much propaganda that is good for you. And there's so much evidence that it's not. And this mindset that these fucking people have, where they're just like, they believe the China study, they believe meat causes cancer. I've had conversations with people, we try to be rational with them. Like, if meat really caused cancer, do you know that 95% of the people on Earth eat meat? And like, well, look at all the cancer. Yeah, but look at all the other food they eat. Do you understand how epidemiology studies work? Like when they, when they have these arguments, no one ever takes it to this like rational conclusion. Like what they do you know how they work? The epidemiology studies?
No.
When they say like if they say there's been a correlation between high consumption of red meat and cancer.
Oh, yeah.
People eat red meat 5 times a week are much more likely than people. What are they eating with it? They don't take that into effect because it's not a real study. It's bullshit. What they're doing is just trying to come up with some biased interpretation of data that makes it seem more likely that meat is killing you.
I was trying to explain correlation, causation, all that to my kid the other night. I was telling him about stuff like this, like education levels and divorce rates, right? I'm like, no one's going to untangle what it is, but you can look at these things and see that there's something going on, but no one knows exactly what, right?
Yeah.
So with this stuff like that, it's like, so did you eat a lot of meat?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, yeah. And what form, where, what were you doing?
It's not even what form. It's what else are you eating?
Yeah.
If they're only looking for red meat, so they're asking you in these studies, like, how many days a week do you eat red meat? And then you say 5. And they say, well, we've gathered up all the data. And the people that eat red meat 5 days a week are much more likely to have cancer. Yeah, but most people who eat red meat are eating burgers. And they're eating burgers from like Jack in the Box or whatever, where you get this bullshit bun. You get these fries that are made in seed oil. You're probably washing it down with a Coca-Cola. You're flooding your body with unnatural levels of sugar and these carbohydrates that are all processed with folic acid and bullshit, and they're fucking terrible for you.
Yeah.
And your gut is just inflamed and your whole body's freaked out. And then do you smoke cigarettes? And do you drink alcohol? And do you live near a fucking power line? Like there's so many factors that lead you to. If it was just like, I want to see a study on people who eat wild game or grass-fed beef and just fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, are those studies? Like, I bet those folks aren't getting like high instances of cancer. Cancer is like, there's a lot of environmental factors, there's a lot of genetic factors, there's a lot of things that lead people to get cancer. It's not just what you eat. But when they say meat, like, what else are you eating? Why are you blaming meat?
Well, what I used to do is go to McDonald's. So, I had red meat because in the burger, 2 plain hamburgers, large fry, apple pie, Diet Coke, and a milkshake.
Just think about all the bullshit
So,
in
yeah.
there.
And then they're like, do you eat a lot of meat?
Yeah.
Blame the meat.
Right. It was like, look at, to your point, look at all that other shit, sugar and carbs. And
Exactly.
that oil in that meal right there would probably kill you.
Yeah.
And some people, it's the same people going through McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's every single day getting their go-to. Yeah, so those are the people that you're asking about, do you eat red meat?
Yeah.
And of course they are, but look at all. But yeah, I just got my blood test yesterday I get it tested every once in a while. And my numbers are phenomenal. I eat meat 5 times a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm eating meat all day, all wild game meat though.
I found that people also have, I was talking this the other day with my buddy Seth, where people also have a tendency to find there's so much conflicting dietary information that people also will find something aligns with their aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right? Or that aligns with their political sensibility. Meaning, someone, if your general tendency is to be opposed to meat production, certain agricultural practices, and you see an article where it says, high meat diet correlates with cancer, they're going to read that with great enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yeah, confirmation
Because they're
bias.
going to be like, oh, this lines up with a bunch of shit I already think.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when we were talking about this, I was sort of teasing out, right? Like, I like to have a garden. I like to hunt, and I look with fondness upon data that suggests that eating like fresh veggies and meat is really good for you. And it definitely feels good, but I'm sort of like, am I, you know what I mean? Do I make the same mistake that I tease other people for making? Like if I read some study that said, you know, eating mule deer's, you know, the best thing you can possibly do, I'd be like, no, that's my kind of study.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just makes logical sense.
Yeah, it
If
does,
You
for sure.
understand the building blocks of human beings and like what's necessary to promote, you know, all the things that you need that only come from animal tissue, B12, collagen. There's so much stuff that you can get from meat that you're just not going to get from anywhere else. So whenever I see an athlete that starts going on a vegan diet, I look at it the same way as like a snake handler. Like, okay, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, how it plays out.
You're gonna get bit. It's gonna take some time.
Plays
It's
out
like-
the same every time.
It's like I have a friend, and he was like, my girlfriend's gonna let me do threesomes. The moment I hear things like that,
That's
I have
my
this
kind of article.
exact same feeling as like someone coming up to me saying, "Hey man, I started making my own bombs." Like that's this is not going to work out.
I know a guy that went through something like what you're talking about. You know, and I remember when he broke it out for me about like some like deal he had arrived at in his marriage.
It looks good on paper.
You're like, I can't.
Fucking never seen an example once.
I
of it
can't tell
working.
you how I know, but I could just tell you that this is not a good idea.
It never worked.
Yeah, I mean, if you just sketch it out right here, it
Yeah.
might look all right.